All right, well, welcome back to Three Black Guys with the Mic. It is Spud Maynard and my man Lamont Hayes. Joining us is I don't mean sports guru, hip hop extraordinaire, fashion guru. I could call him everything under the sun. My man Ty Mopkins is joining us as we speak. Ty, thank you so very much for joining us. How are you, my brother?
Up though, y'all all right? How's everything going?
Everything is good, man. We truly appreciate you, joining the conversation. Let me, you're a sports fan, so let me just start off with, sports. Who's a better Lakers team? Because I know that's your team. Shaq or
All right.
Kobe or Magic or Kareem?
Well, before we even get started with this, so now it's really three and a half black guys this time, right? Because, and not even that. I'm very anxious to see the little cartoon character you're gonna make of me. You guys make I see what you guys do, and I'm like, wow, I can't wait. So now, there's three and a half black guys, by me being mixed, black and white. So I appreciate it being on. Of course, to me, it was the '88 Showtime Lakers.
Showtime Lakers can't front.
Yes, sir.
Showtime Lakers is
Better
serious.
than Shaq and Kobe?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because you got to realize that Showtime team had a bench. They had,
that thing was deep.
yeah. Of course, you had Magic,
Kareem, you had Worthy,
Kurt
Worthy.
Rambis.
Byron Scott.
Kurt Rambis, Byron Scott, Michael Cooper.
Hold on. Kurt Rambis is only good to give you 5 quick fouls. That's about it.
But hey, but he was a banger, and what he would have done is put Shaq on the line 5 times.
True.
So yeah, no,
you're right, though.
And then Klay Thompson, daddy was on that team. Michael Thompson.
Okay.
The Showtime Lakers they might be the third best team in history.
Okay, so who was the first? The Bulls, the '91 Bulls.
The Bill Russell Celtics.
And half of these people ain't even gonna know the 5 players that played with Bill Russell.
It don't matter. They got 11
Ty, wait, Ty.
They got 11 championships, right?
Here's
11.
Maynard. You have to explain to Ty that you are stuck in a certain time period. So Ty is right. You have to kind of talk to people who don't always have to go back 25, 35, 40 years.
Then let's frame the argument. What's the best team since 1980? But don't say what's the best team in history. And then I can't say, well, hey, Bill Russell got 11 rings. 11.
Yeah, but at the time, it was only 6 teams playing.
Thank you, Ty.
Nah.
What you got, man? Man, did he shut you down? Half of a black guy, he shut you down early?
Nah.
Is that what we going on today, man?
Name the team that was in the league then.
Oh man, shoot! there was we had the Warriors in Philly.
And who played for them? Only one guy, right? Will Chamberlain.
Chamberlain. All right. You had Big O was in some of those years. You had West was in some of those years. And I'm saying around the league. So you look at the big cats around the league. There was Big O. There was Wes Unsfeld, who was probably more on the tail end of Russell's career. Right. There were teams. The Jazz was in New Orleans. But to sit back and say I really think moreover, not the teams you want to name the players that represented the beast that he had to see. Right. And Bill Russell, he did what he did when he did that. And you can't say, well, because somebody could say, oh, well,
I respect it for one thing, Maynard. You know why they did that? And they was doing it in Chuck Taylor Converse. Low tops at that.
So Ty, for you, because I know the Lakers are your team, so is Magic Johnson a better player than, Michael Jordan?
Magic Johnson is the original MJ. The greatest basketball player of all time, in my opinion, came from Lansing, Michigan. And his name is Irvin Magic Johnson. That's just my opinion. The reason why, because here go a guy that played all 5 positions in Game 4 of an NBA Finals and won an MVP in his rookie year. So he came off a national championship with Michigan State, which is an okay college. It's not the University of Michigan, but that's another story. And he comes off winning the national championship and going straight into the league as a rookie, dominating and winning the NBA championship, playing all 5 positions in the NBA Finals. It took Michael. It took Michael Jordan how many years to win his first title? Oh wait.
7.
Okay.
Or he came in in 84. They didn't win until 91, right?
Until yeah. Until Michael Jordan went and got some help because he was tired of the bad boys whooping him.
Finally, somebody spoke on what I thought, or what I still think was one of the greatest ensembles in NBA history.
It wasn't the 76ers?
No, not at all.
Hey,
No, not at all.
Allen Iverson?
Not at all.
It would be the Doc J. Moses Malone Sixers.
Whoa, Maynard. Show some respect. I let these 2.5 black men talk. Now it's time for this one a black person to talk. In my opinion, I got to go with them bad boys. And again, maybe it's a little biased because I'm from Detroit, but it was something about that team that it was all well rounded and it was like an orchestra. You know what I mean? And I just felt that type of chemistry. Yes, I was taught early to be a Laker hater, a Bulls hater.
Even over the 87-88 Lakers, you're taking the 89-90 Pistons.
All day, every day. And that's just me.
As a better team?
Yeah.
I think overall as an ensemble, I think what it was with those Lakers is that they had certain people on the team, like he was saying, like Magic had a little bit more than everybody else. To me, it just seemed like the Pistons at that time was a little bit more well-balanced. Everybody played their position. Nobody needed to play 5 different positions, and I just think it worked better. But again, I'm biased.
Yeah. No. Trust me. The Pistons with me is a close second. And really, the Pistons should have been a 3-peat. They really should have. If it wasn't for that phantom foul and all that other stuff, the Pistons would have beat the 88 Lakers. And don't get me wrong, and it just seemed like here, correct me if I'm wrong, it's just like every time the Pistons won when the Pistons won the NBA championship, it was done through not with just a superstar, but with a team like the 2004 Pistons. That was a hell of a team too. So I would rank the 2004 Pistons too up there too.
Yes. And again, that's just me. I'm hate. But that's
no, I got you. I mean, the Pistons is my second favorite team. It's a very close, but I just been a Magic Johnson fan since Michigan State. So I followed him. So if Magic Johnson would have went to the Toronto Raptors or whoever had to pick that year, I would have been a fan of that team too.
Exactly.
I
still want to echo what you said about Michael. At the end of the day, yes, he was a superstar, but I still personally feel like me sitting back watching a lot of those games coming up, with my dad and him explaining X, Y, and Z, A, B, and C, is that Michael, because he had his I don't even want to call it ensemble, but he had help. He still was a superstar, but I still feel like he could not have done all of that on his own or put everybody on his back if he didn't have that real supporting cast that he had. That's period, point blank.
I'll say
this. And that's when basketball was good. That's when basketball was good, when people ain't super up and everybody join one team and all that. I mean, that's when the playoffs was interesting, not like how it is now.
Right.
I mean, it's just, basketball was great in the late 70s, early 80s to the mid 90s.
I'd say this about the Michael Jordan squad, that those years, it was Michael and it was Scotty, and everybody else was just, kind of around. There was a time, no one will say, all right, if Ron Harper leaves the Bulls in his hay, that he was automatically starting at the Knicks or automatically starting at the Pacers. No one's going to tell you. The only person that was on that squad that was automatic, guaranteed a bona fide star with or without Jordan, to me, would be Rodman.
Yep, I agree.
But so and I'm just refuting a little bit on what Lamont's piece. When you talk about like a team that was well-rounded, where it was about help, I do agree that the Pistons, there was no. I mean, Isaiah was a star. But then everybody else around Isaiah, I mean, they were, Joe Dumars is a starter everywhere. In his time, Joe Dumars is a starter everywhere in the NBA at that point. Nobody's going to put it. He ain't coming off the bench for nobody.
Agree. Now let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys feel that Isaiah always get disrespected because he's not mentioned when they say Bird, Magic, and Michael? Isaiah should be in there somewhere, right?
I don't know about that one.
I think Isaiah's in that. Hold on. Before
three straight NBA finals. 2 of them was always, in the Eastern Conference Final. And it's just like, they seem to forget about those 2 years when the bad boys won it back to back, but not even that, when they was also close by always losing to the Celtics.
So you saying we ain't mentioning Doc? Can Doc can Doc come in at fourth and Isaiah at fifth?
Maynard, does everything have to be about Philly? And we need to back up a little bit. And Ty, just give me 1 second because we got to handle some three black guys business right here.
Go ahead.
Maynard, I just need you to understand how you threw in that you needed to refute me. And I want to make sure that we understand
But
what
I was right.
refuting means. Okay? You know what I'm saying? And I just want you to know that I got that. You feel me? So that's not your job to always refute what it is that I have to say. Okay? Because you tried to be slick with that refuting.
Come on, man. So, anybody try to be slick. You need to be admonished for your behavior right now.
Hold on, let me look that one up.
I knew I was going to say
So let's get into the real reason why Ty is here, because I know
they teach us none of this in public school.
So Ty, for those people who are not familiar, who you are, what you do, what you all about, give people a little brief history about, your fashion upbringing and what you do. I would say what I call you a designer. I don't know if I should call you a designer or a clothing maker or, a fashion designer is probably the best way to put it.
To be honest with you, Spud, I don't even know what I am. You know what I'm saying? I just been blessed with opportunity to be in fashion retail for over 20 years. And the key, I guess, to my longevity is I know what I'm talking about. A lot of people, they come into the game and they don't know what they're talking about. They in there, especially nowadays. Now you have the advantage of social media. So now anybody can be in a fashion designer in social media, and because I see it every day. But I started off when, I tell everybody all the time that when I started off, it was in the beginning of like really hip hop music and hip hop fashion. Because back in the day, we really didn't have a lot of fashion going on. You guys can attest to this too. And especially, well, even on the East Coast with you in Philadelphia and Lamont, you was born and raised in Detroit, right?
Yes, sir. All day.
Okay, so with us here in Detroit and even Spud with you in Kansas, it was a lot of stuff that we didn't have access to. So we gravitated to the Fila, the Adidas, the Nike. I think the hottest gym shoe when we was coming up, Lamont, probably was the Adidas top 10 here in the city. That. And then when we got a little money, we moved on up and we started wearing the Filas. The Fila stood for finally I'm leaving Adidas. A lot of people, the whole acumen and things like that. So, I've been privileged to go places and been places where we were like the talk of the town. Like I got my start like with a clothing store here in Detroit that's still running. And to me, I think it should be really a city landmark in strictly sportswear. This lady, God rest her soul, her name is Dorothy Hamlin. She the one who gave me opportunity and gave me a start and turned me out into the world. And ever since then, everywhere I went, I just been blessed to be in the right place in the right time and really knowing the market and knowing the consumer because I am a consumer. So I knew how I wanted to dress. I knew what I like to dress. And I came up in the era of hip hop clothing, whether it was a Fat Farm or a FUBU or even Detroit's own Maurice Malone and Carl Kanai and people like that, which later on I became great friends with and they become mentors. Russell Simmons with Fat Farm. I talk to Russell maybe once a month, whether it's through a text or whether through a phone call, and he's probably one of the biggest persons that has kept me level-headed during this whole ordeal of what's going on in fashion.
In regards to, the changing of the culture, hip hop and culture and fashion has always gone hand in hand. And now it's a little different. When we grew up, like you said, we wore Adidas, we wore Shell Toe Adidas, we wore Fila, Todd One, we wore Pumas, suede Pumas with the, fat laces in them. That's the era that, we come from. And we had on jeans, our jeans, some of them sagged, some of them didn't. But we had a different style of representation when it came to the culture of fashion. Now, you look at a little Uzi Vert and he got on a blouse. You look at a Young Thug and his fashion. You got the skinny jeans happening. Is this new generation of hip hop moving the culture of fashion in a good way?
First off, let me say that I was going to throw out Todd One, but I didn't want to go over your head, Spud, because I didn't know if Todd One exists in Kansas.
I had a Todd One
sweatshirt. Whoa, gentlemen. I'm sorry, Ty. I just want to thank you because I wanted to kind of throw that in there a little bit, Spud. I don't know if we was wearing Taiwan on 7 Mile of Myers. I don't.
Yeah.
We wasn't doing that one.
Well, we wore Taiwan in Kansas. My bad.
Well, listen. No disrespect to Taiwan, but we used to call Taiwan the fake Fila because because the logo used to look like a Fila F with the Taiwan, and that's who we really jacked his style from was Fila. So I was kind of amazed that you even knew about Taiwan. That's one. But yeah,
hey,
but
y'all sleeping on my fashion skills and my old school hip hop skills.
Because what I don't want to do, I want to throw out names because back in the day, like Lamont, we wore Van Grack, MCM, all that stuff. So, but just to touch back on what you said about today's fashion, this is a conversation that I had last year with Ice Cube, because I was a main part of bringing back the starter revolution, the starter jackets and things like that.
Thank you so much.
You know what, Maynard? You know what? Before we get off, I got to get your address because I did do an old school Dr. J Philadelphia 76 starter jacket.
Lamont, did Ty just jump me and you for the jacket?
Listen,
and Maynard? Wait a minute. Did Ty just skip us over and went right to Maynard?
Did you hear that?
Jacket
we gotta guess. All right, the thin-headed black man came on here. Would y'all give him respect? Goodness gracious.
But Lamont, I got y'all too, especially when football season comes. I got to make sure I get Lamont a Lions jacket. I got you.
I appreciate that because in Bergen County, I would be the king of this.
Let's go back to. I want to go back to the fashion part, and let me just kind of segue into the starter part. And let me come back to the new generation of fashion because when I, just so you guys know, I grew up on starter as well. I had a New York Giants starter jacket. So just to let you know, that was my team back in the day. So I had a starter's jacket. But what made you bring the starter jacket culture back?
Because one thing that would never play out is sports license stuff, anything. Because just like how this conversation started, this podcast started off with a question on what Laker team that I thought was the greatest. And sports will always run fashion to me because when all else is said and done, you'll go grab a jersey, you'll go grab a hat, and you'll put it on, and you'll make it stylish and fashionable. And I saw a void in the market where, going back to touch on what you said earlier about today's fashion, I'm not with the way people dress these days because it's like, it's when they say we're doing it for the culture, I don't understand that culture. I know what my culture was, and I saw a void in that, and I wanted to bring back something. And somebody introduced me to the president of Starter. His name is Carl Banks. He's from Flint, Michigan. Went to Michigan State, played for the New York Giants, won some Super Bowls there in the early '80s. And we had a long conversation. He was like, "You know what? Let's try something out with you. You want to bring back Starter? Let's try it out. How would you bring it back?" And I said, "Well, for me, it's a no-brainer because if I ever bring back starter, I'm gonna bring back all Detroit teams because I am in Detroit, and I know one thing about Detroiters, by me being a lifelong Detroit Lions supporter and lover and everything else like that. One thing we're always going to do, we're going to rep our teams. We even going to rep the Red Wings in the inner city because we only know two players growing up of Red Wings, and that was Iserman and Gordie Howe. But we couldn't tell you who else was on there. We just know that the Red Wings. And we just knew that the Red Wings had a dope logo. And even though we didn't know hockey, but we knew that was Detroit, and that's how we rep Detroit. So when I brought back all the starter jackets, I only did 3 teams. I did the Lions, the Pistons, and the Red Wings. And it was a little, I had to meet the minimums. The minimums was 150 jackets to bring it in. And at the time, it was like, wow, how the hell are we going to move 150 jackets? So it was skeptical, and so I went to the people at Mr. Allen's and Jacob Bishop. He took a chance and he said, well, let's try it. And of course, I knew once I get my jackets in, the old instinct from the streets came in. It's like, you get this, you better show it off. You better let people know and hype it up. So I got great relationships, Spud, you can attest to this, with radio jocks and everybody in there. So at the time, my first jacket, I sent one to a DJ that's simulcast now. He's in New York. His name is DJ Envy. He's a great friend of mine, been a friend of mine for over 10 years, just in the fashion industry. And I said, listen, man, I know it's not New York. I said, but I'm bringing back Starter, and I need you to rep one of these jackets. Just take a picture and then send it to me. And he was like, oh, man, I got you, man. And at that time 3 years ago. Don't get me wrong, Envy is hot right now. Envy is hot like fish grease. But at the time, he was bubbling, so he had a little name going on, and people was checking him. He gave me a shout out on the Breakfast Club. He sent a picture, posted, and all kind of rappers and entertainers was hitting Envy up. Yo, where you get that jacket from? Do you got this team? Do you got that team? And Starter has such a big cult following that it really don't matter about the team. They just want a starter jacket.
Mhm.
And Envy put that jacket on, man, and it's taken off ever since. And in the last 3 years, I have had people like Young Jeezy, Ice Cube, my
Magic
man
Johnson.
Magic Johnson, the greatest basketball player of all time, repping the Michigan State jacket that I created. Isaiah Thomas, the whole starting five from the 2004 Detroit Pistons, repping it and all that. And so now it's become like a national, international cult following that I made a joke. And now we're actually working on this international collection where I said, I'm about to change my name to Ty Mopkins. So, so now it's nothing like getting that, you know, I was already good with my dad's side of the money, but now I'm starting to see a little bit of my mama's side of the family money, and it's just like, wow. Once you cross over to that market, it's a whole other thing where I'm getting emails from China, from Russia, from London, and just want to be a part of that culture because they, believe it or not, people, well, y'all know, overseas embrace the American culture and fashion harder than we
Right.
do at the
True.
beginning. So-
what's interesting, Ty. I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm
No,
sorry.
go ahead. You're good.
What's interesting, if you go back and watch, there's a 30 for 30 about the Fab Five and how
Exactly.
they really brought in a super duper swag to basically brought in the hip hop culture in sports in a way. But in fact, I wrote on my own blog, suburbanblack.com, everyone go visit. I wrote on my own blog.
Say it one more time, plug it.
Hold on, suburbanblack.com,
Well,
suburbanblack.com.
here's a better question.
suburbanblack.com.
When was the last recent
Shut up,
post?
Spud.
Okay.
I got one coming out, standing in the shadows of
okay.
giants. But I wrote on that blog that it was the Georgetown starter when
Yep.
that thing was that was if you didn't have a Georgetown starter, if even we lived in growing up in the Philly area, if you didn't have a Georgetown starter, it was even more popular than the Sixers starter.
Yeah, I agree. And the funny thing is, my first starter jacket was that, and that's the reason why I created it again. And I told a dope story with it because it was the truth. The first starter jacket I ever had was that red Dr. J Philadelphia 76er starter jacket that I got, here in Detroit, Lamont, back in the early 80s, mid 80s, when somebody wanted something that you got, they'll walk up to you and say 3 words. You know what them 3 words were, right?
Check it in.
There you go. So, so I got checked in.
I just want to be clear. I didn't grow up around. I didn't grow to that. In Kansas, we didn't have a check it in phrase. I'm just kidding.
That's the main reason why I went to Lamont on that, and I'm glad he caught the alley oop on that. I'm glad he caught that. So I got checked in at this place called Juno's on Grand River, Oakland, where everybody used to go hang out at. And I said, you know what? The perfect opportunity for me to create a jacket was, and I think I did. I think I wanted to create the Philadelphia 76 jacket just out of redemption of getting checked in. And you get cocky, you be like, I bet ain't nobody gonna check this one in. And the one thing that I found out, guys, with these jackets pull an emotional heartstring. Fashion does that as well too. Fashion does that as well too, like sneakers and everything else, because at the time, you may not have been able to afford one. So now when they come out, you like, man, I'm buying 2 pair, or I'm getting every jacket come out. Then that is like a sense of accomplishment because now you validate your childhood. And everybody got a story. They become instant barbershop talks. Where, oh man, I remember when old boy down the street had that, or when my man down the street was getting that money, he had a Sixer, he had a Georgetown, and he had that white Celtic starter jacket.
That white Celtics. Yeah. I hate the Celtics, but that white Celtic starter was killer.
Yep, the white and then the white New York Yankees. And then when Crush Groove came out, you saw all the starter jackets on there in there, which was the Georgetown, the white Yankees jacket, and the white Celtics jacket. So back in the day, it was only 4 dominant ones that you could really buy that really meant something to people. Now I got people like in Denver asking me to do a Denver Nuggets jacket. And it's funny you mentioned the Fab Five because I forgot to mention that one of my childhood friends who I grew up with, Jalen Rose, has been a infamous, because me and him went to the great Detroit Southwestern High School. and he's playing a major part in helping me brand this as well too. So he's the one that helped me get it on Magic Johnson. He's the one who helped me get it to Chauncey and all these other stars that calls him when they see him wear his stuff on his show on Jalen the Jacoby, or if he's on Sports Center, he's rocking the starter jacket, or he's rocking the starter pullover, giving me a shout out on it. So, I forgot to mention that with Jalen too. And another thing, why you said the Fab Five, this fall we're working on the Fab Five collection with Jalen with starter.
So,
Let me ask you this question, Ty, because you said something that was extremely important and something that we debate on this show in America and Black America as well, debates, a lot in regards to the money that African Americans, spend on clothes,
Right.
to look fresh. We stand in the line to, buy a pair of Jordans. We at the, a Gucci store. We buying, Louis Vuitton belts, so forth and so on, just so we look fresh. But you did say something that was important that I want you to kind of go deeper on in regards to the emotional heartstring that comes
Right.
along with, looking fresh, because that's a part of hip hop culture. Is you want to be clean, you want white
Yeah.
on whites, right? You want
Yeah.
top tens, you want to wear the freshest jeans. Why do we spend money? Why is spending money important on clothes to look fresh rather than really spending money, either saving it or investing it or either just paying our bills? Why is spending it to look fresh more important than that?
Well, I mean, I just think with us as a race and a culture, I can't speak for the whole culture. I just think that
Are you
that's
speaking for
something
half of
that's
the
even.
culture, or are you speaking for whole? I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
Well, no. I'm just saying because it just wasn't in hip hop in the early 20s. Some of the black gangsters were the cleanest ones ever. What about back in the day, like in the 70s and the 60s and 70s, when you see guys in pinstripe suits and big block gators and things like that. So it's just that fashion trended over to sneakers and jeans. But before then, back in the day, you would have some of the players and the gangsters and the it people was wearing three-piece suits. The Broadway was on jam every weekend. City Slicker used to sell out of big block gators and things like that. I just think
Lamar, how
that
many gators you got?
in my closet or in storage?
Never mind. Keep going, Ty. My
because they won.
bad.
No, I just think that I can't speak for an entire race. I can't, but I just think that was something that we was always uh summons to be like the best dressed, the well manicured, the well upkeep, and things like that. I just think that that's something that was in our culture. That's what made it from hip hop. Like you said, we had people that just wanted to be fresh dressed and all that. But you do have some people. Don't get me wrong. That have been investing in and hip hop produced some billionaires and millionaires already, just
Right.
with people that invest money and do things already. So I just think sometimes that the media doesn't show the whole picture when it comes to us as a race and a culture, because they show the rappers that go bankrupt, they show the rappers or people in hip hop that does the dumb things. But you got so many people that hip hop has birthed a lot of entrepreneurs to do things.
the thing is, and I'm glad you just mentioned that word because I was about to say this. This is not a
Right.
conversation about hip hop or a conversation about clothes. Those
Right.
are that's on the top. That's like the ketchup and the mustard and the relish on top. What we really
Right.
talking about, the hot dog, is the entrepreneurship. The
Right.
idea that you were able to look at the market, whether or not it was hip hop clothing
Right.
or sports marketed clothing, but you saw an opportunity and you said, I'm going to exploit this and make this work for me. And I don't want to use the word
Right.
exploit in a negative
No.
fashion, but
I
you
feel
said
you.
this, here's an avenue. And so what I want to really ask you is, what kinds of failures did you have as an entrepreneur, and how'd you overcome that?
Well, the first one was I after I left Strictly Sportswear, I was blessed enough to start my own clothing store, and it was called Hip Hop University. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna put this in my old neighborhood, and I did it because I wanted the kids to see that somebody came from the streets of Detroit, one came from the same neighborhood too, and put a clothing store in the middle of the hood, right there on Livernois and Ewald Circle. I put a clothing store right there called Hip Hop University. And uh, the failing part was that, thinking that I was going to be loved and accepted and things like that by becoming this hometown hero and all that, It's like we was broken into 13 times, and it wasn't the white man didn't break in my building. The Chinese people didn't break into my building. It was my own people that broke into my building. And the thing was, this was we all know that after 3 or 4 times, your insurance company drops you. So everything that we worked hard for, I had partners in it that invested their life savings and put in work into theirs as well too. That after, so like I said, the insurance company dropped you after 4 times. Now we had 13 break-ins. So now you're talking about 9 times we had a break in, and we had to come out of our pockets at 50,000 or 40,000 or 20,000 at a time, fixing up the fixtures, getting things going, and have to reorder the clothes to go back into it. And that right there had me to a point where, man, I just lost it. I became depressed. I was sick and shut in for almost 6 months because I couldn't believe that all this was happening to me, especially in my own little neighborhood.
How do you know
So
who's like more of a culture vulture and more of who's a really authentic brand, right? I mean, you know, hip hop,
yeah,
it's kind of like the norm. You make it to a certain status, and then all of a sudden you become,
right.
you know, you want to create a clothing line. You know, Eminem had a shady wear, Outkast had a clothing line, Rockaware. I mean, Eve had a clothing line. I mean, it becomes the norm of, you know, I'm gonna create this clothing line. I mean, how do you know when I guess a brand is lining up with a personality to bring authentic clothes to the hip hop culture, or somebody who's just basically out or who's in it for the money? Jeezy
You
had
know what?
1732. I mean, and then you
No,
know
no,
you
no.
have all these
1738.
artists.
1738.
I thought
No,
1738 is the liquor.
no,
That's the
no.
liquor. I was trying to make sure you was on point because I figured I was hoping. See, Ty, this is a part of the podcast where they always put me in the corner. You see how
Yeah.
they don't let me
Yeah.
talk or ask a question because I think I need to refute something that Maynard said a minute ago, and we're going to finish up with Spud's question. No, it's okay. It's
I
okay.
refute back then. I refute back to you.
It's cool.
brother.
Yeah. Now,
Well,
hold on, Ty. Hold on.
Go ahead.
Because what Spud asked you a question that Maynard didn't actually properly address, and it was talking about and Spud, help me with this about why do people pretty much like wear some of the clothes and maybe not do some of the other things, but they'll spend money and they'll do other things. That was kind of like
we basically spend money to be fresh versus taking care of our responsibilities. I mean,
right. Okay, stop. Okay, stop. Spud. Okay, stop.
In the line overnight for a pair of Jordans. I mean,
exactly. But what I was going to add to that, and again, this is where I have to refute Maynard, where he was totally incorrect.
I didn't say anything.
You went to this entrepreneurial shenanigans, and I was just going to add to that.
Hold on. Time out.
Can I finish here?
We got guests.
Hey,
go ahead.
hey, listen.
Finish your foolishness. Nah, he ain't a guest. He home.
I feel like a kid. I feel like a kid when parents are arguing and you just sit there like, I'm like, oh, I just wish this is over with soon. Please, somebody ring the doorbell or something.
No. Here's the one thing I think Maynard didn't say, or maybe it wasn't said, period. I just think sometimes people, like you just said, when it's time for them to pull at their heartstrings, people just want to feel good. And the reality is that this apparel, whether it's a starter, a top 10, or a Fila, which I don't need you to explain that a little bit, and and we're gonna go back to that in a minute too, because it makes people feel good. And like I will say, with Maynard and with him being our political guy, sometimes politics in life, it just makes your head hurt. And sometimes if you go get that new starter jacket, it just makes you feel better. But I sometimes think it's just as simple as that. It just really makes you feel.
So you know what? Donald Trump is the cause. I'm not gonna pay my bills, but I'm damn sure to getting them Jordans.
Yes, it's Donald's fault. Yes.
Because I feel good. Because I feel good. You know what? Life is bigger than bills.
But my question is this.
He refuted you.
My question is
to prove
no.
to be false or erroneous as an opinion or a charge.
Right,
Refute,
exactly.
ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ty.
Okay. Look, my question is this. It's just like, because I do make a living off of selling Jordans and clothing and things like that. That sometimes I don't take offense when people make comments like that, because I used to, and I'd be like, well, shit. If Jordan stopped selling, then what I'm gonna do? Well, what else you want me to go back to selling what I used to be selling? I mean, I can go back to that. Then guess what? Then I got to hear about how you selling that to your own people. But nobody gets on Apple case when you got lines that's 25 blocks long when the new iPhone come out, or when things come out like that, or when Best Buy want to put a a 143-inch Sony TV on sale for $99. There's only two of them in stock, and you got 3,000 people in line with that.
Which
So nobody
locations
ever
is doing that?
criticized. So nobody ever criticized those people. It's always something that when it comes to urban or urban retail, when we're doing something, and I get it, and I understand a lot of things with that. When people are like, well, you rather buy these Jordans. Well, I don't mind supporting the Jordan brand because 80% of their employees is African Americans. That company employs more African Americans than any company in the whole United States of America. And a lot of people just look at that as we always got this thing where we always want to be complaining about something until we do the research, until we see what's going on. And even though I just said 80% of Jordan brand Jordan is African American, oh well, okay. You know you're going to get the backlash still when you talk about it. So I get it. It's a part of our culture, and it's a part of whatever it is. But I don't hear nobody criticizing Apple when they release an iPhone and it's 1,000 people out there at Somerset.
Well,
Maybe
I
it's
don't think
I
I
don't
don't
know.
think that is I don't think that is you as the retailer
No, I know.
slash brand ambassador or Jordan brand or any. I think that each person, and I don't know why Lamont brought me into this. I wasn't even in there, but I think that each person has to
Because he
make
wanted
their
to
own.
refute you.
He wanted to refute
Exactly.
for no
You need to be
reason.
refuted,
He
my
just-
friend. You need to be
Right.
refuted.
The new word for the day is no longer refute. It's admonish. I mean, catch up.
Woo.
Catch
Let me,
up.
let me
But
look
them
that
so-
up really quickly.
Right, go ahead,
I
go
know,
ahead.
I know.
Go ahead.
They didn't teach me that at Southwest. I can tell you that.
Yeah, if you listen closely, you can hear Lamont and his keystrokes trying to get to admonish, but that's okay. Now I just think that every person, to kind of speak to Spud's point and to your point as well, Ty, is every person got to make a decision. You know that you got to pay your bills,
Of course.
and you know that, like, okay, well, you know what, I'm my cable bill is due, but I'm not past due. I'm gonna get these Jordans, and I'll catch it up a little bit later. If
Yeah.
that's how you balancing your thing, people do that, and it's understandable. You
I
know,
agree.
somebody said, well, I forget who it was. If it was some woman who it was my girl Rochelle on Everybody Hates Chris. She said if I didn't owe nobody, you wouldn't have no money to owe people. She was basically
Yeah.
was saying, I'm juggling these books, I'm making it happen. So,
Well,
but there's a person out there that knows there's no food in the house. There's a person
yeah.
out there that knows that they are 1 month, 2 months behind in rent and or mortgage. And then if they
Yeah.
make a decision to be fly for Friday night, then that's on them. I mean, I ain't gonna be mad at Jordan for saying here's
Right.
these sneakers.
And,
Right.
and Ty, please forgive me. We got some more housekeeping. Maynard, you are really to be admonished for that because we had the
You did.
preacher conversation.
You-
And you said that it was wrong for people to take their money and give it to the preacher, and they phone was getting ready to get cut off, or their lights was getting cut off.
Right, they
So-
need
so-
to make
so
that. Those
which is
people
it?
need to. I just.
And man,
do I
you
give my money
did
to
say
the
that
preacher, or
we,
do I
you
give it to
did
the
say as a
store?
culture. You did say as a culture that we gotta do better. Did he say that,
Yes.
Lamont?
Yes.
We
I said,
gotta
so
do
now you're
better.
saying, right.
I said
Right.
the exact same. I said you got to make your own decision. It ain't the preacher's fault. It ain't Jordan's fault. Now, some of these people that are taking your money, and they taking your money, and they go trick it off, and you gave it to them in good faith. That's a whole other thing,
Yeah.
Pastor so and so. But every person has to make their decision. I'm not blaming the brand, or I'm not blaming the retailer. If
Right.
you got your paycheck and you got $500 paycheck, whatever it is, and your rent is $300, and you go out and instead of paying your rent, you're going to decide like, yo, I'm a ball. I'm gonna buy rim one for my vehicle, and then I'm gonna my next paycheck I'm gonna buy rim two. The people made the rims. They're there. That's not their fault for making a rim. It's not their fault for making the sneaker. It's your fault for making the wrong decision.
Maynard, I'm really disappointed in you. We have company, and you
What
have
are you
changed
talking
your entire position because you want to make sure that you get a 76. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of the 76
Right.
jacket. Our man Ty, you know what I'm saying, who's down with Starter, which Ty, I really gotta thank you, man, because I did not know the history of the owner of Starter. So
Right.
what was his name again, and where did he go to school?
Carl Banks, and he's from Flint, Michigan. Went
Gotcha.
to school at Michigan State, and he was a very significant part of the Giants when they won their Super Bowls in the '80s. So it was him, Lawrence Taylor, and another Detroit native, Pepper Johnson,
Pepper
that all
Johnson.
played linebacker. Yeah, that all played linebacker for the Giants when they won. And no, just to touch on that too, I get in a lot of arguments about this subject, and I see where people is going, and I feel it because it's just that when it comes to urban fashion and hip hop, we're easy target to attack. But I tell people all the time too, just like Maynard said, just like we all know that if I know that I get paid this amount and this is due, this is due. Now the casino's open 24 hours, so they don't have that same conscience. Like, they want you to come in there and spend your money, or the tobacco company knows you're gonna come buy this, or the liquor company knows you're gonna buy this fifth and pint and all that stuff. So it's really up to that person that's disciplined enough. Now, that's a deeper subject where maybe we need to be better teachers to our people on how powerful your dollar is. That's the thing. We just sit up here and we not well, I'm not going to say criticize, but we bash on the things that people do, but are these people really getting the proper teaching on how important your dollar is? And in the words of Dorothy Hamlin, where who you give your dollar to, so goes your power. Until we understand the power of our dollar, then I mean, people are going to do what they want to do with it. That's just me thinking. That's just me speaking out loud and just saying, just my opinion.
So Ty is launching a podcast called the Ty
Right.
Mopkins Show. His
Yeah.
first guest is going to be Carl Kanai.
Yep.
Ty, why'd you choose Carl Kanai as your first guest?
Well, Carl has been a great mentor all these years, and he has helped me out. He's gave me pointers and all that, and I just thought that one, that was one. Two, it's perfect timing because we're trying to launch it this Friday, which is the launch of the Tupac movie, All Eyes on Me. And Carl and Tupac was very close friends, and Tupac was one of Carl Kanai's very first model. And I don't want to give too much away on the interview and the questions, but it's something that you want to listen to because so many times people saw Pac, they saw the gangster talking and all that stuff, but they don't understand the person Tupac really was. And Carl Kanai had a front row seat and all that. So it's going to be interesting to hear all that. And I just want to say that I appreciate Spud helping me doing this podcast. See, Spud is the humble and modest type, but Spud is producing everything, executive producing and doing all that. So I had to borrow one of y'all brothers. So this right here is really one and a half brother promotion that's coming on with the Ty Mopkins show and things like that. And every podcast, I'm going to bring a different figure, whether it's fashion, sports, or entertainment, or music, just anything like that. So it's when people try to pitch their show and things like that, we always say, oh, it's going to be something like you've never heard before. I'm not going to say that. It's just put like this. It's going to be very entertaining, and I just wish, I hope, and I pray that it comes out as half as good as this podcast right here. Because I'm telling you,
So Ty, can you do
guys
us
are
a
doing a great
favor?
job. Go ahead.
Can you take Maynard and leave Spud?
Sure, no
Yeah,
problem.
I mean, because I would love to see
I'm
how
over here minding my own business, man.
Playboy.
Wow.
I'm just trying to set this up. I'm just saying we really need Spud over here, but you can take Maynard sometime and we'll be just fine.
I got you. I got you.
brother.
Yo, you
Ty,
know what? There was a,
before you
hold on. There was a pitcher. I want to say he pitched for Detroit a long time ago. He got traded in the middle of the game. Is that what's happening? My contract just.
I'm just trying to see what our options are over here, man. That's it.
So you're trying to say, wait. So you're trying to say you want me to take Maynard and for a player to be named later?
Yes, there you go. That sounds good.
Okay. Well, okay. I'll take Maynard for a brother to be named later.
So Ty's gonna talk about fashion, sports, and hip hop on his podcast. So Ty, you like old school hip hop. I would love to hear what your difference is, or what you think the difference is between old school hip hop and new school hip hop. Because Maynard always reverts everything back to, or references everything back to 1982. He can't get out of the KRS One, MC Shan, Antoinette days. I mean, he doesn't really, care about, new school hip hop. In your opinion, what do you think the difference is between old school hip hop and new school hip hop?
I'm trying to say this where I don't lose a lot of my. Well, I gotta figure out how can I say this without losing the little small support base that I have now, because I do listen to new school hip hop, and I've been in debates with this, and uh, I'm trying to figure out a nice way to say this. Okay, when we was coming up in the 80s and 90s, like our music had messages. Like going back to what he said with the KRS One, with the Nas, and it was great storytelling. And with the music and with the Run DMC, with the NWA and all that stuff like that. Now I tell people all the time, you can drop right now, if we was to stop this podcast and play this one particular song, it will make people bob their heads and they can relate to it. And that song is by Run DMC. It's like that. And that song is oh 30 plus years old, right? Okay. So you tell me since 2010, when 2040 come along, you could still drop It's Like That and still get the same response. From 2010 to 2017, you tell me one record that you can drop 30 years later that will still have people bouncing their heads.
Lamont?
And
So wait. So now here's the thing, and it's funny you say that because first we got to ask what's the cutoff, because I was listening to, I don't know, maybe it was old school station on Sirius XM, and you all remember, and this is not too old, but it's not. I know we can't call it new, but I was listening to the Whisper song. You remember that the Yin Yang Twins did?
Yeah.
I mean, that was a hot ass record. Now it's not on the level of it. It's like that because Yin Yang was not an iconic group, but they did have a couple good hit records. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like I hear where you going, but
you can't drop Salt Shaker right now and have the same effect as It's Like
No,
That.
you can't. You can't. I mean, because back in those days, Lamont. Lamont, you've been in the music business. You know the ins and outs of it. You know that maybe from, let's say, should we say the early 2000s to right now, everything was can you say was gimmicky rap, gimmicky like A B C D, touch my toe, stuff like that. Where
Thank God.
No.
Somebody say that. Thank God.
Maynard, we have a guest. Be quiet, Maynard. Be quiet,
No,
Maynard.
I'm just saying, no. I'm just saying that it was like, I mean, it's kind of hard because I find myself defending both, because I can also say too that okay, we grew up on hip hop. Our parents grew up on Motown, and just like why now is not really a functionable R&B category anymore. What happened to the R&B groups? What happened to the R&B singers? You know, when we was coming up, you had like Boys the Men, you had Jodeci, you had things like that. So why we don't have that type of boy bands now or things like
You
that?
had hardcore dudes driving around in their Jeeps bumping Keith Sweat.
Yeah, even nowadays. So that's why. So once again, like the starter jackets, that's why you see the stuff we grew up on still. Like my son is 22. He don't listen to nothing new. Like he still listens to New Edition and Run DMC and things like that, because, like he said, he can't relate to what they saying now because everybody rapping about selling drugs. I mean, these guys have made more money selling drugs on their records than actually selling records. And I've always said this, like these guys and their records, if you listen to it, they move so much weight. It's like, why are you rapping? Because you done made more money, or now you're telling on yourself on what you've been doing. And now
or
it's
you
just
only a studio thug.
and that's 95% of rap this day.
So Ty, so you don't believe in 40 that we will be able to play Bad and Bougie and it's gonna rock the crowd?
No, because
come on, dude, come on. Y'all can't let Migos live. That's gonna bang.
Hold on, Ty. Nor will we be rocking the club in 2020 with looking like I hit a lick.
Hey, back up off of Cardi B now. Back up off Cardi B.
Oh, that's trash.
No,
that's uber trash.
But just to say this too, and let me touch on this. I know we talked about, rap and all that stuff. And I tell people all the time when they be like, well, why haven't, and this may be going off the subject, but I'm just going to say it. It's like, why haven't Detroit rappers ever got on like that yet? And I said, well, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. The industry raps about stuff that they don't do. Detroit rappers really rap about the things that they really, really, really do. So when you hear Detroit rappers saying that he didn't done this and done that, I believe him because I didn't seen half of them do it. That's one, and we are probably the realest out of every city. Maynard, I know you're in Philadelphia. And Philadelphia people are real. Trust me. I got friends and family
Kansas
in
people
Philly.
are real too. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. No, hey, the funny thing is that our Nike shipments, you know where they come from? Junction, Kansas.
Hmm.
It's a
Yeah.
factory in Junction, Kansas
Yeah.
that said that. And Spud, that's your hometown, right?
Yes, Junction City. Yep.
Yep. See, so you got one up on all of us because
Ty,
it
let
comes.
me ask you this. 'Cause I got two things. I'm saying, ask you before you go. Top 5 rappers of all time. I gotta hear this.
Whoa.
Dylan, and Dylan.
It's a Dylan.
No, okay. Now my top 5, right? In no particular order. No particular order. Pac, Big, Nas, Jay-Z, and Royce the 5'9".
Royce the 5'9" is in the top 5.
Royce?
I said in my opinion. In my opinion.
No Chris.
No, Chris?
No Rakim.
In my opinion.
Okay, and I'm just asking. I don't have no problem with it.
Now top 10. Rakim is in there. Nas is in there. KRS-One is in there. But my top 5, like these are what I listen to. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Chuck D. I still listen to the Terradome once a week, the whole CD.
I can feel that. I feel
Chuck,
that.
Is Chuck top 10?
Yes.
No, yeah. Oh yeah. For sure.
Yeah,
for sure. But that's why I don't say who's number one.
Right.
These are just my top 5. These are people that I listen to. You know.
That's all right. So that sounds like a strong 9. Give me one more that will round out your 10.
That one more.
Mm-hmm.
That I like listen to. Oh, see, I can't because I would say, and it's 2 people. I would say Run DMC. Nobody ever gave Run or D the credit of what they rhymed about. I haven't heard a rapper yet voice as powerful as DMC that can make you feel everything he's saying, and that's just me. That's just me.
Ain't no problems. Ain't no arguments over here.
I was about to say, my man, I'm so with you on the 100. It's like, and I'm glad you said Chuck D because forget you know what I'm saying, Chuck's tone, just the tone of his voice, the way that he delivers his words. We're not talking about what he said because I also think what's important about Chuck is at that time, I know for me, what he was talking about, where this country was, it was like the perfect storm, so to speak. So I'm glad you said, you definitely said Chuck. But I know Maynard's mad that you didn't say MC Shan or you didn't say the
Cool
Juice
C.
Rue or Cool C. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Or Jazzy Jeff or the Fresh Prince.
yes, because Maynard said Jazzy Jeff is his all-time favorite rapper ever.
I did not say that because Jazzy Jeff ain't never dropped a line.
My fault.
Said you
Fresh
said
Prince.
you asked DJ.
What's his name?
And I never
Will
said that the
Smith.
Fresh Prince.
He said Will Smith was hip hop.
Yeah, you said Will Smith was hip hop.
I agree with that. He is.
He is. I mean, what was hip hop in 85, 86, 87? It wasn't.
I'm not co-signing that, bro.
I'm not co-signing that neither. Ty, LeBron James is down 3-1. Can they pull it back like they did last year?
Cavs in 7.
Cavs in 7.
Mm.
Putting your money on Bron.
I'm not putting my money on none of them. I'm just saying Cavs in 7 because because don't get me wrong, Golden State is a great team, and I defend Golden State a lot because everybody talk about this super team that was put together. But if you look at Golden State, really only one player joined that team, and that was Kevin Durant. All those other players, they did it the old-fashioned way. They did it through draft and everything else. So 8 other players was selected before Stephen Curry. Draymond Green was a second-round pick. 15 other players was drafted before Klay Thompson. So they did everything the right way. It's just that they're just good. But I just feel I may be wrong, but I just feel like LeBron is about to be a beast now. It frustrates me when LeBron doesn't go to the hole as much as he should because LeBron will get every call every time if he go to the hole. So I'm saying Cavs in 7.
Okay.
I'm hoping that you're right.
Stop, Maynard.
So what are you guys saying? What are you guys saying? Before the season, wait. Before the series even started, I said Cavs in 6.
Look, I want to see LeBron get another one. That's what I want to see.
Why, man?
I like LeBron. I like LeBron. That's why. What's the problem with that?
I just feel like.
And you know what? I have a question to you guys. Why do people hate LeBron so much?
Why?
Name something that he's totally did wrong for people to hate him. And
Excel.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's it.
He never cheated on his wife that we know of. His name never no dirt.
But Ty. Ty. Wait. Ty, but hold on, let me stop you. And here's what I say. Off of the court, you're exactly correct. LeBron James is somebody that I would hang out with. He's I have family that live in Akron. Actually, I have a couple of relatives that work for LeBron. So I hear a lot of stories about how he takes care of his people. They're uber professionals it's just a whole nother world with that brother off of the court. But on the court, I don't like him.
Why?
Why?
I just don't like him. I don't know.
What he don't do right on the court. That's what I'm saying.
My Jesus is telling me just don't like him.
Wow.
You got Jesus involved with hate. Jesus is about love, baby. Yeah. Jesus is about love.
Put it like this.
It's about love.
I don't know. I just don't like him on the court.
Put it like this. When somebody bring up Jesus, that's when you lead the conversation. Yeah.
My man, Ty Mopkins.
Ty, I truly appreciate, man. We truly appreciate you joining us today, man. Thank you so very much. Make sure you check out, Ty's launching the website, TyMopkins.com. He's doing the podcast. First, person is going to be with Carl Kanai. He's going to talk about fashion, sports, and hip hop. Thank you so very much, Ty. For people who want to buy the jackets, follow you on social media, tell people where they need to go to get the jackets, as well as, follow you on Instagram or social media.
All social media. It's at Team TEAM _Mopkins, MOPKINS. And this season coming up, I know it's going to be a pitch, but this is the biggest season ever for Starter. And I'm doing some Fila collabs, and I'm working with Pelly Pelly with Mr. Allen's to bring back their 40th anniversary.
Bringing back Mike Jenkins.
So, we're doing something with Pelly Pelly, and things like that. But I appreciate y'all, and like I said, man, I'm curious to see what my cartoon character is going to look like this week when y'all, with 3.5 brothers.
All right, Ty, man, we appreciate you, man. Thank you so very much for joining the convo, my man.
Excellent.
All right. Detroit, what up, though? All right,
peace. All right. Oh, shit. Did I hang up Lamont?